Hello, my name is Tina Holland and welcome to First Friday Lunch. I am pre-recording this on July 6th as it is summer, and I tend to do that in case I'm working or on vacation. So let's get a couple of things out of the way. I'm going to talk about how I picked my Camp Nano project, but also how I normally would pick a Nano project, which is of course an acronym because you know how much I love those. Anyway, so summer projects that I'm working on. I'll talk a little bit about Camp Nano and why I've decided to work on that particular project. The first thing is I am going to be putting Alchemist of Archangel into print, which is the sequel to this book. And I contacted my formatter, Scott, yesterday. I'll put his link below in case any of you are looking for a formatter because he is absolutely wonderful. And I went ahead and I scheduled him, so I'll be putting that into print. And then I also need to get chapter 1 of the third book done so I could put it at the end as well. So that should be coming out probably in the next 30 days. I don't think that'll take overly long because I won't put in like a very full edited version of chapter 1, but just the basics, and hopefully nothing changes, and a sneak peek for my readers to find. So that'll be good. The other thing, now let's talk a little bit about Camp Nano. So Camp Nano, normally when I'm doing a Nano project, the things that I do are, my acronym for this is THINK. So the first thing, T, is timeline. So what do I have time to work on? Even when I'm looking at November, I've never done the 50K. I always try and aim for 1,000 words a day because I'm trying to aim for consistency over time. And I think that will go better if I can just plug out 1,000 words a day. I can maybe be more consistent. As a matter of fact, when I was rewriting this book, which I have chosen, my Regency, which had multiple titles. It was what Charlotte Wants, What the Widow Wants, The Widow Spy, and I think now the title is going to be Claiming the Governess, because she was also, that was like one of her jobs or whatever, so I thought that I might work more with that versus the widow thing, so, because I had some complications around that particular aspect of it. She is a widow, but I'm kind of changed my timeline around and everything. So one of the things I look at for Think is T, timeline. Like can I get something done, or a good chunk of it done in the month of November? Or in this case, I'm rewriting and editing, so can I get it done in the month of July? And I think I can, because I'm not doing a whole lot of rewriting. It's actually already been edited. I'm going to keep most of the scenes in there. I just have a couple of plot changes, but the overall scenes won't change very much. So that's good. Think H, heart. What would I love to work on? So when you are working in Nano, you want to pick a passion project, basically, so you can kind of get through it pretty decently. Because if you don't have a passion project, it's going to take you longer to slug through it. You don't always have that luxury when doing a Camp Nano. Like in my case, another part of the timeline is I want to get this book out in the fall. So I really need to get most of it done. I got to get a cover art done, all that stuff in the month of July so that I can start doing pre-orders and stuff like that. So imagination, something that sparks your imagination that will get you going or whatever. So I think that is key in being creative and doing those sorts of things. So usually when I do a project, I am probably what's known as a plotzer or a plantzer. I don't know which people, for probably plantzer, because I do a rough outline, but it changes clearly because I think I've rewritten this book. This is the third rewrite on it where we're doing some major plot changes, or maybe it's like my 15th draft or something like that. So it depends on how you look at it. I look at draft 1 as like the original. I always call it a rewrite though, because if you're doing plot changes or something like that, it's going to be different. So in the case of Nano, N would be new. You have to have a new project when you're doing Nano. In Camp Nano, you can pick whatever you want. You can pick a a project that's been sitting on the shelf that you want to pull out and like breathe new life into. You can edit a book because stuff needs to get edited. You can work on translations. If you decide to do your own cover art, you could do that the whole month of July, whatever you're looking for. Or if you're shopping around a book, I've known people that do their Camp Nano project is literally to do all their query letters and write their synopsis, like get that done and send out all their query letters before the end of the month, or start that process so that they're moving along. So that's good too. Think, and then the K would be knowledge. And for me, this boils down to, do I have enough knowledge about the subject? Like, I just changed the meet cute, and there's a carriage breakdown, and you would not believe, I probably spent an hour like digging into the research of carriages and coaches and wheels. And then I couldn't find what I was looking for, which is so disappointing. Although there are a number of Regency blog sites, it went over all the different sorts of, during the Regency period, all the different sorts of vehicles hauled by horses, basically, that they had. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I want this, and I want that, and I want this, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. So if I look at my project, the timeline that I've got picked out for this Camp Nano is that I want to have everything wrapped up with a bow before the end of the month. So that's my goal. Heart, I want to get it done, basically. So I have the heart to get it done. And I'm going to be using a little bit of my imagination because I'm doing some rewriting. So like the carriage thing yesterday. And it's new to me because I guess in some ways this is new in the sense that it's going to be a rewrite versus an edit. Although there will be an edit. I've already sent this to an editor twice, so I don't know that I'm going to send it a third time. I'm going to be working with my critique group, Word Weavers, and I'll put a link for them in our Facebook group below if you guys are interested in that. And and then knowledge is just going to be researching things I don't know, like carriages and coaches. The last thing that I've got going on is that I have been doing a number of book signings this summer with the Moorhead Friends Writing Group. I will put their webpage below as well so that you can research them if you so desire. They are a local critique group based out of Moorhead, Minnesota, which is about 25 minutes to 30 minutes north of me on the Minnesota side, because I'm just south of Fargo, and Fargo and Moorhead are across the river from each other. So but we have a number of people from all over the country that are in that group, and Chris, the leader, does a terrific job of promoting us locally. So he's gotten a number of book signings, which I will usually sign. The Courtesan of Constantinople, we're in a big push right now because we just released Welcome to Ephraim Falls, which is an anthology, but it all takes place in a fictional town. And my story is called The Nude Eye Alibi in that particular anthology. And it's not, there's a normal side of town and a paranormal side of town. And basically, there's some paranormal elements that happen, but the Nude Eye Alibi is not paranormal, which is interesting because for the last anthology, last two short stories I've written have been paranormal. Also the one for Seasons in the Dark with Bisman Writers Guild, and then also Tales of the Frozen North were both, and those were set in the same world. They were set in my Brave the Elements world. Nude Eye Alibi is set closest to the Starving Artist series I have, or the Caulfield Cowboys. It's set in that same world because I actually mention Buzz Caulfield in the story just briefly. It gets like a one little line, so that takes place in the same world. I will probably go ahead and re-release that short story on its own next spring. I'll give it a full year before I re-release it on my own. So that's kind of what I've been working on. But yeah, we've got a book signing called there's a book signing coming up in July, I think it's July 20th and 21st at the Moorhead Center Mall. We just did one in Zambros, so if you are local to the Fargo-Moorhead area, you can go ahead and find the Welcome to Ephraim Falls at Zambros, Barnes & Noble, and I think we're going to be doing a signing also at Bluebird Books closer to the fall in Detroit Lakes, and then there is a new bookstore, and I cannot remember the name of it, that is opening in Moorhead, and we'll be doing a book signing there as well. Also, I am possibly doing a book signing August. I think it's August 19th is Romance Day at Ferguson Books in West Fargo with my friend Maddie Barone. So we will see. We'll see how that goes. We're kind of ironing out the details. Also, the end of this month, Monet Michaels, who is a lawyer, will be talking about kind of legal contracts as it relates to traditional publishing with my Word Weavers group on July 31st. So I don't normally put an invitation out to those, but if that is something you are interested in, please let me know and I will get you on the list and you can come to that. But I usually only promote to writing groups. So that's kind of everything that I have got going on this summer with the Moorhead Friends Writing Group. I wanted to share at the Fargo Public Library, if you are local or perhaps your own library, is Site Alpha by my friend Neil Romriel. He is an author that is with the Moorhead Friends Writing Group, and I just got this from the library, so I'll probably be taking some promo pictures and stuff like that of it today to put on Instagram for him. So they ordered that up, and Neil also did a talk with Roughcraft, which is a YouTube podcast. I will put a link for that as well below. And that is that's just kind of my one little promo site. I just promoted him just because I got the book the other day from the library. So if you have also Carson Constantinople is also at the library, Fargo Moorhead, or if you have Hoopla. All my books are available on Hoopla. So if your library does Hoopla, you can get all my ebooks on Hoopla. So, support your local library, and you can save some pennies. So that would be a good thing. Anyway, I think that's everything I have. So it's been a very quiet June for us work-wise, but July looks to possibly pick up, which makes sense. We normally pick up work after July 4th. So we'll see how things go there, and then hopefully I get all this stuff done on the rewrite for Claiming the Governess, and that should be good. So next Fish Friday lunch is going to be Friday, August 4th. So go ahead and pencil me in for lunch.